We are playing Vampire the Masquerade. This is the 4th out of 5 episodes of Black Pentecost. We have a second series coming after that, and you know, depending if everyone dies or live, we might return to see this crew also a little bit further down the line. But for now, last week, the lot of you kind of got into a little spot of trouble here and there, where Arkham and Lilah went to see a French art collector named Narcisse Menard to try and convince him to lend his collection to the prince's efforts to set up an art exhibit that will put Montreal back on the map as far as the art world goes. And things went a little awry. Things were going not too bad until you were leaving, and you were almost out of there, and then Arkham just had a few bad moments with himself and with his roles, and well, we're going to find out exactly what happens with that once we get that. However, meanwhile, across the city, Father Dubois and Elise were taking public transportation, which has probably been the darkest moment in this series so far, where they took public transportation. Poor Elise will never be the same. Lost, I think, like 3 humanity points during that trip. And when you arrived at the Fatal Lofts, which is a sort of punk commune in Montreal in the Saint-Henri neighborhood, you encountered Seb and Laurence, the duo known as Behrit, the occult rock group that the prince is interested in having for the exhibit. At which point, without any real prompting whatsoever, Elise, inebriated by the scent of the blood emanating from these two twins, began having sex with them. And Father Dubois, just like any other good priest would do, closed the door and pulled a knife. That's where we were, my friends, when we left off last week. I, as much as anybody else, am looking forward to seeing what comes of all of that. And so, without further ado, let's dive into this. A city and its citizens exist in a symbiotic relationship. One gives, and the other takes, and then gives back. It's a cycle, fragile and easily appended. Abused. Think of what happens in a city. It's a stage for the most miraculous and the most vile. It's a spectrum that encompasses the dreams of the denizens, from fears to hopes, neglect to care, life to death. People live here and grow and learn, cry and fuck, long and share. Windows open on scenes of bliss, of degradation, of joy, of sorrow. Windows, eyes into the very soul of the city. The people. The people. The veritable lifeblood of the city. It's a beautiful dance full of sweeping, powerful moments and painful stumbles. As one goes, so does the other, their fates intertwined. And then there's us. The parasite outside that delicate little chain. I watch Montreal decay and fall apart before our very eyes. Dreams left in tatters, hopes murdered, lives destroyed. We do that. We sit up in our ivory towers and look down upon the city and see only food. Something to consume until the very last drop. We take everything, heedless of what this ultimately means for us. For when there's no more people, what will become of us? If we consume it all, will we be left with nothing? And then we, too, will disappear. And all that will be left behind will be the beauty of dead cities. Buildings and homes standing vacant and silent. Giant tombstones where we bury dreams and hopes, our own futures, and ultimately, ourselves. I am the dreamer. I have given this city its dreams for centuries. And as I watch and despair, I fear I am becoming aught but the Deathdreamer, envisioning endings and dissolution and the final silence. Will someone not stop me? At the lofts. Elise. It takes very little time for you to be subsumed in the act. The three of you begin to intertwine and merge. Physically, yes, but also on a different level. You become lost, floating along the waves of pleasure, the vibrations in their blood, the resonance which sings to you. A perfect harmony with your blood, your soul. It carries you along and makes every other concern immaterial. With Fletcher, you are wholly subservient, and it is this safe, comfortable, and unconditional devotion and submission that brings you freedom, release, and power. He has proven his care and devotion in return, and so you give up control freely. Your souls are two halves of a whole, and the resonance between you is immaculate. In his hands, you know yourself to be the safest you have ever been, will ever be, and thus can allow yourself to let go, feel, be transported. With Fletcher, your heart and soul are nourished, as his are with you. Now, with your followers, you give and take depending on their personal interests, but the connections are never so deep. They are sweets, soft candies that you chew on for a quick fix, a quick rush. With them, your body is nourished, your sweet tooth satisfied. So many of them, so many variations, new experience. But with the twins, it's something else. It does not have the feeling of safety that being with Fletcher does, nor does it feel as trivial as being with one of your followers. It's at once more intense and less safe. You feel yourself bounced about, on the edge but not out of control. It's a high, a powerful one. The taste of their vitae flowing down your throat is the first hit of a heroin. There's something dark and scary and vital in the taste of Seb's blood. His sister's blood is brilliant and bright and expands the field of pleasure upon which you now lie. Your beast is stirring, a rabid animal in a cage, growling and demanding that you drink more. Now, all of it, that you sup on their heart's blood and waste not a single drop. What do? Do you allow your beast to roam, or do you stuff it back in its cage?
I think Elise is deep into the current right now. These twins resonate through her and without her, and Elise is a risk taker at her core. She doesn't desire to kill them necessarily, but she wants to ride this wave. She wants to know it deeper. There's something here that she can't quite put her finger on, that she doesn't quite understand, that she's never experienced with a pair of humans like this before. And I think it's not so much as allowing the beast as she doesn't even realize so much that she's let the beast go. She's so enthralled and raptured by these two and the act of what she is doing.
And as you lay on the ground, wholly spent, dawn but a short hour away, the twins enveloped in your arms, their blood sticky and covering all three of your naked bodies, their Heartbeats faint, the taste of them lingering on your tongue like the darkest, finest vintage. I'm going to need you to make me a rouse check.
That is a success.
Excellent. Now, would you give me a resolve plus auspex roll?
Okay, that is 3 successes, but one of those is a red diamond with a black dot in the middle, and I don't know what that means.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say you can tick off a hunger point if you have more than one, since you've been feeding off of them. But you always at least have one. In order to go to get that last one off, you have to kill whoever you're feeding off of.
Okay.
And the Little Bones give you a night move. I don't know if
Thank you, baby.
Elise, you've had these moments before, and moments of great intensity. You get sometimes visions or images of things to come, or insights into things that are occurring to you. And as you lay there now, replete from the sex and the blood that you've been drinking, you see yourself as if floating above your body. The room around you is entirely white, but at the center is a black, round circle. A cloth, so black it seems to be a hole. But you lay upon it, with the twins entwined around you. You feel yourself become the center of everything. Feel energy crawling along your skin, beneath your skin. You sense energies from all over the city, reaching back through time, converging around you. You remember Marjolin's words from the shop, how you were at the center of things and that you were in danger. Both Seb and Laurence move up, kissing you together. You watch as they begin to melt, their skin and muscle and sinew, their meat, turning to blood, the blood spreading out around you. You watch as a map of Montreal is drawn in blood, with you at the center of it. The various shades of crimson mark the streets, rivers, mountains, neighborhoods. Your tattoos also begin to run, the ink flowing into the blood of the twins as their skeletons continue to kiss and touch you and you them. Their bones begin to break, begin to pierce your flesh. Kneeling at your feet, you see Fletcher and Maria. They are reaching out to hold you, keep you from slipping away inside the black hole that is opening up beneath you. An abyss so black as to be the negation of the world. Others now gather, a man without a head, naked, erect, Marjolaine carrying a skull from which emerges dark red fumes. And you know one is missing. One more to complete Trois Echelles' incantation to reveal his secrets. 7 days for 7 questions. 7, not 7 places as you thought. 7 people. 4 you know, Maria, Marjolaine, Seb, and Lawrence. 2 you don't, but you feel them in your orbit, getting closer. A man with a vast art collection. A man without a head. But the 7th. You open your eyes. A name is on your tongue. The Ashen Crow. 7. You lay there, this dream or vision, whatever it was, slowly seeping away from you. You return to this loft. You hear the booming bass of the underground goth club below. You hear voices of people rising. For the first time in several hours, you're taking stock of what's around you. What's Father Alexandre been doing as you walked in, saw Elise and the twins, closed the door behind you?
He toys with the idea of taking true advantage of the situation, tapping the back of his thigh with his dagger. But he allows the witch to ride out her bliss before realizing that dawn's encroaching. Are you quite finished?
What time is it? Seem to have lost track of it.
We have less than an hour to get you to safety.
I think she slowly rises, slipping back into her clothing, looking down to the twins. What do you think we should do with them?
Oh, I have an intent. And he leans down and he puts the dagger in one of the hands. Doesn't matter which one. We'll go with the brother. And he looks him dead in the eyes and says, God commanded you to give your greatest sacrifice in reverence of him. Kill your sister. And he stands. Time to go, dear. Utilizing command on them.
No, they can't kill each other. No, you can't do this. I think she's, like, kind of standing between them and getting close to the twins, almost trying to protect them.
They know what you are. Do you intend to turn them? Do you intend to make them yours? Then they must die. Lest we cause a breach and the prince's anger. So, enjoy them, their last little drops, or they kill each other, and it's just another sad report in the news.
We can't. The prince wants them. She gets really close to you.
I don't think the prince intended for you to fuck them either.
Take them to the prince. She'll know what to do.
You don't have to fear us. The brother stands up, well, not stands up, but gets up a bit and kneels, and I never doubted you'd answer her call. I've dreamt of you. I remember that night like it was yesterday. And you notice when he's saying this, Kurt, when he's saying this, he's kneeling and facing and looking at your shadow. Creep, you notice him kneeling, facing, and looking at Father Dubois as he says this. I remember that night like it was yesterday. Father Dubois, you suddenly get a flash, a memory flaring back to life. You sit dressed in a black tunic, black paint over your eyes on a throne of stone. Around you, supplicants slither and moan like a nest of snakes, naked bodies covered in blood at your feet, the stench of it arousing, eliciting a deep growl from your beast. You hear his voice. That one of yours? One of mine. I wonder. Hard to say where one ends and one begins, eh, Padre?
It's certainly not one of mine.
Your perception shifts back. The memory, evanescent, difficult to hold on to. Seb is looking at your shadow and he says, "Tell me your will, Father. I long for you to visit my dreams once more as you used to." Laurence comes up to you, Creep. She takes your hand in hers and she brings her mouth right up to your ear and says, "Please don't let him hurt my brother. He hasn't been the same since your friend stopped visiting him. He just wants to please.
I think Elise turns her face to Alex. Is this true?
I think his head just slowly turns, and as it does, you see the noticeable one eye is very dilated and the other is not. Truth is simply a matter of perspective. I don't know them. I don't know you, unfortunately. And he leans down very close into his ear. And whoever you think you saw, you didn't.
Your shadow says, we're no longer alone, Padre. These idiots managed to actually call something here. And you all hear a loud thumping. There's a skylight up above your heads. There's a loud thumping on it, like something hitting it, then something else, and something else. It's hard to see because it's a black sky still. The sun has barely begun to crest. But you hear another bonk on it, and then another, and another, and another, and soon you're seeing blood spreading everywhere on the glass of the skylight, and you hear another thump, and then the skylight shatters, and dead birds begin to rain down on top of you. Their blood, their feathers are falling like ash from the sky. They're covering you. There's dozens and dozens of dead birds that are smashing through the window and crashing on top of you. What do you do?
I think Elise grabs the hand of the girl and reaches out for the wrist of the boy, and she's going to try to run with them.
Father?
I think that he would probably grab the boy and just with all of his unnatural strength just whip him out of the way.
All right. As soon as I find out to make my Excel spreadsheet dark so that it stops blinding there. All right, go ahead, both of you, and I'm going to ask you, Elise, to give me a dexterity plus athletics roll, and Father, I'm going to ask you to do the same but with strength and athletics.
Okay.
I used one of my night moves on this, and I got 5 successes. What's the red dice with the little pale symbol in the middle of it mean?
Messy.
Is it a 10? Yeah, right. If the symbol comes up, it's because it's a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to use another move to negate the messy critical and make it just a success, or?
You know what? We'll just write out the messy critical and see what happens.
Excellent. What did you get, Father Alexandre?
3 successes.
All right. You reach out, and as these dead birds are just raining on top of you, and the blood and the glass and everything is coming down, as you reach out for the boy and grab him, you start pulling him, and Father, you feel a presence, something wrong. And I'm not talking about like there's a ghost or something like that. You're a priest, and you feel the presence of the devil in the room. Like to the very core of your bones, there is something that you would only be able to describe as the devil present in the room right now. And you grab Seb and you hurl him out the door. He goes flying through. Perfect throw, goes through the door, rolls out onto the landing outside. You start rushing towards him. Elise, you grab the girl, start running with her. As you are pulling her out, you feel inside of you. You remember a few moments ago when the beast wanted to come out. And you told it no. You said. And you realize now it hadn't gone away. It hadn't gone to sleep. It was just lying in wait for the perfect moment to rear its head. And as you grab her and start pulling her out of the room, this giant piece of glass from the ceiling, and you watch it come down almost in slow motion. It comes down slowly, twists, and the sharp edge of it hits her right here in the neck. And you see a huge gout of blood. It's not clear if she got hit in the neck or in the shoulder. Right now there's just too much blood. And as you're pulling her, and that blood, that potent blood is spraying out everywhere over you, over her. She's screaming and just kind of fighting. I am going to ask you to give me another rouse check.
What are the chances I could capitalize on this?
Oh, it's a success.
Sorry, say that again, Creep.
It was a success.
You feel the beast again come out, and you picture it in your head like your throat distending and this thing about to come out of your mouth and bite her, almost kind of like, you know, in Aliens when the other mouth sort of comes out of her. You picture that and you kind of just clamp down on it, and the smell of her blood, the resonance in it calls to you so badly, but you just manage. You have no clue how wounded she is. It's impossible to tell right now as you're pulling her out. Kurt, what were you saying? You wanted to do what?
Capitalize on this. I want to use dementation to force her beast out.
Oh,
that's crazy.
The father is out for blood tonight. All right, let's look at how that's going to work out. Dementation, manipulation. Yeah, so start by giving me your rouse check. Father.
That is a success.
All right. Manipulation plus dominate. Creep, I'm going to need you to do composure plus intelligence. And remember, both of you have night moves that you can use if you want.
I will use a night move to stack me to 4.
I'm going to use a night move as well.
Remember, the night moves don't give you auto success, right? They give you 2 extra dice.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Woof. That's 2 successes.
Let's see here. So I will have 4 successes, and one of them's a critical.
So yeah, there's no such thing as a critical success unless it's a messy critical.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Was it a messy critical, or was it just
a flat critical? Okay. Just a flat double star.
Oh, thing. Double star. Okay, all right, cool. All right, that's fine. So Creep, what the power does is that it allows him to activate one of your compulsions. Okay. Your compulsion, you only have one, and your compulsion is perfectionism. Nothing but the best satisfies a vampire. Anything less than exceptional performance instills a profound sense of failure. They often repeat tasks obsessively just to get them right. Until the vampire scores a critical win on a skill roll or the scene ends, the vampire labors under a 2 dice penalty toward all dice pool. Reduce the penalty to 1 dice for repeat action. So here's the thing. The way your perfectionism is going to materialize in this particular case is that you wanted to save the 2 of them. And now it looks like you failed, like she might die, or like something terrible bad happened because you weren't fast enough, you didn't pull her out of there quick enough. So right now your character's really kind of suffering from that compulsion of that OCD compulsion of things weren't fucking perfect. You didn't do well enough. You failed at this. You were not able to protect her like you said you were going to, or like you wanted to. So for the rest of the scene, you're going to be with that dice penalty, but it doesn't. It's going to fade after. But for now, Like, that's what's going through your character's head. You're just like, fuck, I failed. I'm terrible. I did not do this well.
I have a question.
Yeah. You can spend a willpower if you want to ignore it for a while. That's another...
No, I'll take the 2 dice penalty. I've plenty of night moves. Do I know that Alexander has done this to me?
Good question. Dementation says after engaging in conversation with a victim, the user can activate Spark. So he would have to say something. So what would you have said to Creep? And I understand it's kind of like on the spot here. Maybe if you're not sure what your character would have said, that's fine. We'll just assume that you said something. But
you can't say you can't save them both.
So your character's not aware the power was used. You just know that he said you can't save them both, and you realize you're right. Like that's where your self-doubt emanated from. But I don't see any real evidence that you would necessarily know that, unless the only thing I'm going to say is if your generation's higher than his, then you would know. But if it's not, if it's the same, then you won't know. So what's your generation, Father Dubois?
That is in notes. No. I'm trying to find it in here. I am a 10th generation.
Where'd you find it?
Under concept and lore.
My generation's not in there. What generation am I, Blake? So I can fill that out.
Well, Fletcher's your sire, and he's 8th generation. That makes you 9th. What's your blood potency? Is it the same?
Mine's a 2.
Yeah, your blood potency is the same. Okay, so what I'm going to say is, Elise, go ahead and give me a wits plus awareness roll.
Oh, relax.
Remember, you have a 2 dice penalty, right?
Right. So I'm going to use a night move to negate that.
Okay.
And I wish... What is happening? Hold on. It's awareness. Roll. 1 success.
Okay, so you're not aware what he did, but you know that it's once he spoke to you, it triggered this feeling of failure in you, right? Like you weren't feeling that. You weren't worried about saving them both. You weren't obsessed about the specifics of the situation until he spoke to you. But I want to make it clear that you're not aware that a power per se was used. Just that the way he spoke to you. Like it could just have been like, his words or his attitude or something like that.
Okay.
So you start pulling her out. You see the blood kind of going everywhere. You pull her out with you. You're on the landing. You can see the birds are slowing down. There's less of them kind of falling now. The rest of the glass is falling down. You're on the landing outside of the door. What do you want to do? Do you guys want to continue kind of trying to pull out, or do you stop there? What do you do?
Where's the brother?
The brother is on the floor now, like he's been thrown by the father, just a little bit further down. So he's kind of picking himself up. He's just a little bit further down on the landing. He's picking himself up, and as he does and he sees his sister bleeding, he kind of rushes over to her.
Is there anything that I can do to help the girl?
Yeah, you don't have medicine. I would say if you give me a intelligence roll, and you don't have medicine, so you can't really add anything to it unless you want to use a night move. You could blood surge and add your blood potency to it if you wanted, but you'd have to do a rouse check.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can also spend a willpower to get an automatic success.
I'm gonna use a night move to negate those 2 lost dice, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a blood search because fuck it. I'm like, Elise is desperate to save her. She'll do anything to save her.
So do a rouse check.
Do you want me to do my rouse first?
Yeah, so do the rouse check first.
Okay, so that is not a success.
Okay, so you get a point of hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to add your blood potency, but you have to make the roll flat. Again, you can spend a willpower to get an automatic success, or you can spend a night move to get 2 extra dice.
I got 1 success.
Okay. With 1 success, I will say you have no clue exactly what's happening. Did you get did the artery get hit, or was it just a shoulder? But you managed to kind of rip out some clothing and kind of bind it so that it looks like she's not, you know, the blood flow has slowed. Like you definitely bought her some time. Seb is on and he's like, what happened? What happened? And he's kind of trying to help, and you sort of push him out of the way. What's the father doing during all this?
I think he's just kind of standing there being like, tick-tock, we have to go.
You manage to bind her, as I said, and he's like trying to help you get her up. The father's like, tick-tock, time to go. What do you do?
I sent you a message because I don't know how some things work.
In
Discord.
The rules are made up and the points don't matter.
Isn't that every game? Go ahead, Creep. Give me a charisma and occult roll.
Okay. That's 6 successes.
Craziness. Okay. You feel a tug. And you get the sense that he's aware.
Okay.
Laurence is trying to get up. You're helping her up. Seb's helping her up. Downstairs, that punk music's still going. You still hear people. It's starting to die down. You can see from the skylight that kind of grayish color of dawn. You know you don't have a lot of time. There's also the issue that, you know, you came here by public transportation, so it's not like you can just hop in a car and go home.
Right.
What do you guys do?
This is a seedy, probably reused warehouse kind of thing.
Yes.
He looks for a manhole cover.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Go ahead and give me a wits and give me a wits and survival roll.
Survival. All right. One success.
So your thought is this: you don't know about a manhole cover, but this place is basically the size of a full block. There's very likely some access to some sort of, you know, underground place through a maintenance area or something like that. A lot of you will go down the stairs. If you mention this, Seb will say that, yeah, there's downstairs, there's like a room where they have a generator and things of that nature. If you go downstairs, you will be able to find a room that leads to some underground rooms where you can stay for the day. So there's that. You know that you can do that. What would you like to do? Do you go down? Elise, do you go down?
Oh, yeah.
Father, do you go down?
Oh, I very much go down.
Yeah, Elise will go down reluctantly.
As you go down, Elise, I will say that you're not 100% sure that Laurence will survive an entire day hidden away down there with her wounded. It definitely, if it's the artery, she's fucked. If it's just like a really deep cut that's still bleeding because you didn't have like a lot of medicine skill, like you fear for her life if you bring her down there.
I mean, do I have any other option at this point?
You yourself probably have to go hide. Options are to give her some of your blood in the hopes that, becoming a ghoul gives her enough strength to kind of outlast, or telling her brother to take her and go and find help.
Yeah, so there's some mechanics that I don't really know about, and I didn't know if like I gave her my blood, if that would help her, because that's definitely something Elise would do if she thought that would help her.
Yeah, so if you gave her a fair amount, like if you give her enough to get yourself a point of hunger, it'll make her a ghoul and it'll give her some like extra toughness and probably a chance to survive.
Okay. This could be very interesting. Mostly because I think while she feels this deep resonance with the twins, she also doesn't want them out of her sight right now, especially knowing that she is currently vulnerable and not home. So once they get down there and get comfortable, I think she would kind of get Laurence comfortable and just kind of be like stroking her head. I'm going to have to do something for you. It's not quite the nicest thing. I imagine her brother Seb is with us.
Yeah, he's staying next to her. He's crying. He's holding her hand. He's like, I'm sorry. And he's just like, caressing the side of her head, and like, she seems quite distraught by this.
She reaches out and touches his face. I could save her. But I'm going to need you to trust me. And I need a little bit of privacy.
He looks at you and he looks at his sister, and he leans down and puts a kiss on her forehead and goes, if you can save her, she's everything. I can't live if she dies.
You'll stay down here with us this evening if I save her.
Yes. Yes,
and
if
you'll
that's
go
what it
with
takes.
us tomorrow. You will do what I say.
He looks over his shoulder at you, Father Dubois. You can tell he's looking just a little askew, like at where your shadow is.
I think she snatches out and like grabs him by the chin and directs him right back at her. You will do what I say. And she uses compel on him.
He doesn't belong to you. Don't take other people's toys.
Is he your toy then?
In a manner of fashion, yes. But just understand, once you claim the sister, you're responsible for her. Is it worth it?
I only want to save her.
From what?
From this fate.
The sweet release to the mortal coil? You wish to keep her away from the end of all things? From no pain, from no misery? You wish to bind her to the same fate as your own? How very noble.
I don't want to turn her.
No, but you will make her an addict. You will make her crave it every single night to drink from your bosom for the remainder of eternity. Like an addict. And when you try to break her of it, once her wounds are healed, it'll be like no other pain on this earth that you will put her through. So tell me, Do you care? Is it worth it?
You speak these things like I don't know them, like I'm some just foolish child.
Well, the shoe fits.
I just want to help her.
Then help her the only way you know how.
In this space that we're in, is there somewhere that Elise can take her for a bit of privacy?
Yeah, I would assume that there are several storage lockers. There's probably like the maintenance areas, things like that. So there's like a dozen doors.
I think she picks her up and without another word carries her away to one of these places.
Yeah, Seb follows you, but he'll wait outside whatever door you go through.
She's going to lay her down and very carefully take a nail down her wrist and offer the blood to the girl. Drink.
She seems a little unsure at first, but then memories of what you all just did together and everything sort of come back to her, and she realizes it's nothing new. She's done it before. She grabs your wrist and brings her mouth to it and starts to drink of you. What's your hunger at?
I'm at a 2.
Okay, so you're gonna go to a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're doing that, a few hours before, just before we switch over to our friends, what's the father going to do during this time?
He's going to ask the brother, do you know? Do you support knowing that you two will not be united anymore? Do you accept this fate for her?
Okay, that's good. Hold on to it. I want to give... it's been almost an hour, so I want to go to the other guys, but we'll come back to that.
Nah, I'm good. Keep it going.
Meanwhile, a few hours before, across town, Lila.
You did this to yourself.
I know, I did. Well, to be honest, I named the other character Maria before I knew someone was going to play her, and it was... Okay. Lila, you were almost at the elevator. Arkham makes disturbing wet noises as he devours the guard. The arterial blood dripping down the window colors the city's skyline a deep, rich crimson. The scent of the blood reaches you and you feel your beast stir. You're thankful you took the time to feed before coming here. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch Narcisse transfixed as he watches the spectacle of Arkham draining every ounce of blood from the guard. You notice the camera above the elevator door. You remember another one downstairs as well as a couple more guards. What do you do?
I think first of all, she's going to be very interested to note that Narcisse isn't screaming, running. He's just watching, which is fascinating. It's a really strange reaction for someone who probably shouldn't have expected this. And I think her first impulse, after being very annoyed, would be to pull him so he's not looking at what's happening. But again, he's not panicking, so maybe that's not as much of a necessity.
You, I think, notice You've noticed this in your brethren before. You yourself have had this happen. Toreadors have this tendency to get entranced when they see something that captures, their sense of, what is aesthetically pleasing. And it's kind of similar to that in some ways, where he's seeing something, it's that watching a horror film or watching an accident, like you see something horrific, but there's a part of you that just wants to see more. And that's kind of what you feel. And if you reach out and touch him, he'll kind of break out of that trance and... Qu'est-ce qui se passe, là? C'est quoi cette merde? Il l'a buté? Does your character speak French?
I don't think she does. I think she's from New York.
So he rambles on in French at you, clearly, like it's just his basic brain, his instinctive brain not working. He's not even realizing that you're not understanding, and he's getting agitated, and he's getting, now that you're kind of broken the spell of his focus on that, he's getting a little agitated.
In that case, watching him start freaking out, I think I'm going to attempt to mesmerize him.
Okay.
Because this needs to be controlled and minimized.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make that roll. Meanwhile, Arkham... Oof. This felt good. I mean, it's difficult for you to really trace in your mind what happened. Like the sequence of event that led from you leaving this place calmly to just devouring this guy. There's a sense of something, there was some shame mixed in there, something happened, a little bit of frustration, and you remember hitting him too hard, and then here you were, just finishing this guy off. I assume you kill him.
Yeah. There's like Arkham is almost up to his ear in viscera on the side of the security guard, face completely covered in red, and he kind of goes up on his knees after he can feel that the life is completely gone. This is complete mess everywhere, and he sees the splatter of the blood across the window on the skylight, and he stands up and he walks to it, and he begins to just mark streaks with his fingers of just X's on buildings. And he's like...
Lilah, you see this at the corner of your eye as you're attempting to... what was it you were using on Narcisse?
Mesmerize.
All right, how does that work?
I had to do a rouse check. I got a success.
Awesome.
And then it was manipulation plus dominate.
Mm-hmm.
And I also got one success.
And this does what? It causes him to focus on you? Is that it?
No, mesmerize is I can issue complex commands.
Okay, excellent.
So it's like the next level up of command.
His eyes focus on you and lock in on you, and you can kind of feel that receptiveness in him. He's still obviously kind of panicking, but you can now feel that he's focused on you.
For now, I'm just gonna say, wait here, quietly. And then I'm going to go deal with Arkham and his absolute nonsense that's happening right now. Are you quite finished?
For now. Usually they have much more to say. This one was big but quiet. She's a drinker.
You know, for as exacting of a man as you are, you're the bluntest instrument I've ever seen.
Well, an artist's paintbrush is never exact.
This was a little bit more like watching someone do surgery with a hammer.
Yeah, well, it's not the orchestra. Oh, so I think I have a little bit of space for some more. This one was American, but I'm really up for French. Looking over at Narcisse.
How in trouble would you like to be with the prince?
What do you mean? I'm cleaning up a mess. I'm removing a distraction from the goal. He's not a buyer. You get what you want. the prince gets their collection. I'm the solution.
To the problem you've created.
What problem? Lilah, he's dead.
I'm
He'll
gonna
be dead
point
too.
at the cameras.
Hello? What?
That would be the problem.
Tell him to turn them off.
You
Be
think
the last thing he hears.
You think this man who's renting this place has the ability to turn off the cameras?
Pays him enough? You should have a button.
I'll ask, but it seems unlikely to me. And
Okay.
I would like to note that as connected as it's likely that he is, it seems unlikely that killing him would be without repercussions.
The only repercussion I'm seeing right now is I'm getting indigestion from waiting. What do you want to do?
I think we should take him out of here. At the very least, we should get him to sign everything over to us. Have it all legal and on paper. But I don't think here is the place to do that.
Okay. I want
This
that.
does represent a breach, and it worries me greatly. I don't
Fuck
live
the
here.
Masquerade. Fuck the masquerade. Go back to New York. I don't care. I want that. He's pointing at that painting.
Fine, but we need to take care of problems.
I am. You're here. Take care of the problem.
I'm going to roll my eyes so strongly, and then turn back to Narcissus and ask if he can remove recordings from these video cameras.
Narcisse says, he starts in French and then stops and goes back to English. I don't know. There's a security room downstairs. I don't know how these things work, but maybe downstairs. The security room. My other guys are down. And then he realizes he's kind of like tipping away the hand that he's got guys downstairs. So he just stops. Like, I don't know. Maybe downstairs.
Charming. I'm going to look back at Arkham.
Yes.
So the answer is no.
That sounds like dessert's ready. Where's the security room?
I'm going to look to Narcissus.
Wait, hold on. Are you going to be doing this the entire time? I'm standing right here. Narcisse, where's the security room?
Looks at you.
Answer him.
Downstairs. Downstairs in the elevator. Take the corridor to the right. It's just at the end.
How many are down there? Translate.
Answer him.
2.
Are you lying? He wouldn't be, right?
At this point, he's starting to look like he's a little like kind of afraid. Hey, I'm not lying. I tell you, I have 2 other guys down there.
We also walked past
Like
him on the way in.
I'd like to get real close to Narcisse if I could, and just get real eerily close and just go. Fear smells good on you.
He kind of looks to you, Lilah, like looking for.
He
for
breaks it. He's
protection.
like, no. It's me. There's 2.
He falls down, sitting, puts his hand in his head.
Lilah, I leave your pet to you. I have a dinner date. And I just do this as I walk back.
He goes downstairs. You're
Sorry, he Arkham, not he Narcissus.
Arkham, yeah. Arkham goes downstairs.
Okay, fine.
You're left alone with Narcisse upstairs.
I'm
what is this?
going-
Who are you people?
Stay there, because he's sitting down, and shut up. And I'm going to pull out my phone and just text my assistant. I'm going to have her send a car.
Bleary-eyed, your assistant wakes up, answers your text. Yep, right away, no problem. And she texts you back a few minutes later. 10 minutes.
Perfect.
You're standing there, alone with Narcisse and alone with that painting that he showed you.
I mean, we are taking care of the cameras. I do think I'm going to go and grab it off of its little pedestal. It can come with us too.
You lift it up, grab it, and again you see the power in it. And it doesn't necessarily come from the beauty of the art itself, which is fine. It's very nice, but there's something else about it. There's something, almost otherworldly about it that ensnares you, and you realize that you've been staring at it for like 2-3 minutes. Just standing there, holding it, staring at it, and Narcisse is in the back, and he's starting to hyperventilate.
I think I'm not looking away from it, but I can hear him. Yeah. So I'll just tell him to breathe quietly.
Meanwhile, downstairs, Arkham. Ding! The elevator doors open. You see one of the guards leaning against the wall. He's got a little bag of sunflower season. And he looks up at you. Everything okay, sir?
Yeah. Your benefactor decided to do some late night painting, and I got a little excited with the red. It's a shame. This is an expensive coat.
He looks you up and down. You see he's starting to become a little suspicious.
That's fine. It's just him?
Yeah, you don't know where the other one is.
Okay. He told me to come down here because he was having issues with the security cameras, and I wanted to make sure that everything was fine.
What kind of issues?
He just wanted to make sure that they were all working well.
All right, I'll double check and I'll call up.
You know what? One of my favorite things to do when I'm painting, I like to listen to music. Do you like music?
Is there anything I can do for you, sir?
Yeah, just a moment. And he's walking close, and he goes, one of the things I really like to listen to is your old 90s rap and hip hop. As you can see, I'm not from here, but I've been here for a while. Something about the aggression, right? It just feels really nice. Something that you could, I don't know, bang your head to. And I grab this guy's face to begin to slam it on the wall.
Give me a strength and brawl roll.
Solid. Let's do this.
Want to do a rouse check and get a blood surge going?
Why not?
Do it.
I did succeed.
All right, so you can add your blood potency to your strength.
Perfect. So it's that. You said strength and brawl?
Yeah.
And then my blood potency is 2. Yep. And then I don't know. I'd like to use a night move to add to it as well.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Oof. Lord Jesus. I love that. So it's 5 success. One of them has the Ankh and the 2 diamonds on. Does that mean something?
Yeah.
So there's that.
You lose yourself as you're ramming this guard's head into the wall. It starts to create this beautiful pattern, and you become obsessed with it. You become obsessed with seeing how it's going to evolve. You are feeling really that moment where that flame of creation sparks. And you become obsessed with seeing where it's gonna go. So obsessed as you're slamming his head into the wall and you're watching the pattern that it's created, and you're so absorbed with it that you don't hear the other guard coming up behind you until his gun goes off.
That's really, really good. I assume he shoots me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes. Hold on, let me see how that goes. Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to... I think probably he wouldn't know until during the slamming of the head to start using lethal body, because he just loves the vibration of the skull across the marble, and I want to see how strong that could really be.
And as you're doing that, you hear the gunshot. You feel a burning sensation as the bullet rips right into you. And of course, it doesn't do aggravated damage, but it does kind of kick you off to the side a little bit and kind of get you off your game. And as this happens, you twitch and the face goes a little too sideways and you ruin what you were creating. It was almost there. It was almost perfect. And now it's literally the same as if in the middle of creating this beautiful portrait, the wind would have shifted the canvas and you would have done this huge slash of red across this beautiful picture that you were drawing.
Arkham realizes that he's been shot, and he looks at the mistake that this idiot has made.
I'm going to need you
he
to give
shakes his
me a
hand.
willpower roll.
What if I refuse and I say, let's ride with it?
Upstairs, Lilah. It's taken a long time. And then suddenly you're pulled out of this observation of the painting by what sounds like a gunshot.
The deepest of sighs echoes out of Lilah, and she turns to Narcisse and she goes, "You send a man to do what you think he's good at. Come along." And she's going to take Narcisse and put him in the elevator. And she's going to tell him to hold this and let him hold on to the painting in the elevator, because she knows she's probably going to have to deal with shit when they reach downstairs.
He takes it and he looks nothing so much as a young, sad boy holding a broken toy as he just stands in the corner, looking down and holding this painting in his hands. And the elevator goes down, and it seems to take a really long time. And as it does, you're looking through the glass at the city, and you go down, and you go down, and you go down, down. Ding! The doors open. Ian, describe to me the utter carnage of Arkham in full frenzy.
When the elevator door opens, the first thing you see is a long streak of blood. It looks like a pack of raccoons scurried from one side to the other, just wild and erratic. But at the same time, it's really mosaic. It's kind of like the wings of a butterfly, but it is crazy. And after your detention diverts from that path, just following it over, you see Arkham fully drenched with the blood of the previous guy, banging on the head of this other guard that shot him with the leg of the previous guard. And he's going, it's just pure chaos. But then it goes really silent. And he stands up on his knees again and he goes, many men wish death upon me. Oh, jeez.
And at least one woman as well. Did you find out where the cameras are kept?
Yeah, they're in that room over there.
Fantastic. Lila's gonna head towards the camera room because that's still... This is more of a problem at the moment.
From the elevator, all you hear is some quiet sobbing.
I think I'm also just gonna tell him to come along. Arkham, leave him be.
Why is he crying? What'd you do?
I'm just myself, and that's just the sort of effect I have on people.
You leave a woman to take care and you think they would do something. What's wrong? And he just kind of goes over. Above table. I was just doing the thing. Sorry. I love
No, all good.
I'm from one.
Has that been proven?
Arkham, he's got your favorite toy. You won't want to touch it just now.
Hold on.
No. Just, I've called a car. We've got wet naps on the way.
My car's outside.
Do we come in your car?
Yeah, you came in his Audi.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what? That's fine.
Did you?
We did.
I thought we got dropped off by the Primogen.
I thought...
car.
Did we?
I thought, yeah. I seem to recall you guys were dropped off or brought there.
We'll go with it. Okay, good. What kind of car? Oh.
A hired one.
Yeah, but what kind of car?
Dark tinted windows kind of car.
Sounds like a Subaru.
Well, we'll see when it arrives. In the meantime, I'm gonna go look at this technology that I'm bad at.
Open the door to the room marked security, having thought to pick up the magnetic key card from one of the piles of red jello on the floor.
So smart.
You've published how many novels with like mystery elements in them? You know this stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So you pick it up, you unlock the door, you walk in, and there is a small station with a couple of Mac computers, and you can see that there's a camera on the scene upstairs. You can see the dead guard with the blood on the window. There's another one over the elevator downstairs. You can see the mess that Arkham's made. What's Arkham doing right now?
Come on, Narcisse, hold it higher. I'm trying to get a good view of it. Yes.
And there's a whole bunch of buttons and lights in front of you. So go ahead and give me give me an intelligence. Hold on a second.
I think I have technology.
Yeah, that would be where you would go with it.
All right, well, let me double check because I think I might have some penalties for technology also.
For the record, earlier, Ian, you decide to ride the wave, so you just went into a frenzy, and the frenzy ends either at the end of the scene or when the object of your frenzy disappears, which in this case, having destroyed the two guards, like your...
That's why he sang that 50 Cent song at the end of it. He was done.
All right. I got 2 successes.
All right. So you don't know too much about this, but you're pretty sure that these things are probably being recorded on the hard drive. So if you take them with you, at least, you know where they are. So you know enough to know to disconnect certain things and to take what appears to be, the main body of the two computers. You stack those up pretty neatly. And as you do, you notice outside through the plate glass that there's a dark Escalade that has pulled up with tinted windows.
Fantastic.
Now here's a question I have for you. Would your assistant know to send a kindred-friendly vehicle to pick you up, or would she just have sent a regular old library driver?
Oh, no, my assistant is very much a ghoul, so I think she is well aware of my requirements at this point.
All right, then. The truck pulls up. You see it also, Arkham, outside. Narcissus crying, trying to hold up the painting where you want him to hold it, and just not getting it correctly. He's pretty useless at this point.
I'm going to come out.
Really? Was this gone in 60 seconds? Jeez.
Well, at least it won't be tracked back to you. I'm going to come out and give Narcisse the computers to hold on to, and then I will take possession of the painting.
Yeah.
Come along.
Hold my purse.
It's twice as funny because he's small and sad.
It is.
And it makes him sadder, and I'm into that.
Yeah. All I wanted was to buy a painting, he says as he climbs into the truck.
And maybe you still will. Unlikely.
Oh.
Maybe.
Not gonna happen.
Well, we'll let him pay for it, and then you can have it.
Your assistant, sitting in the back of the truck, watches you all come in, sees Arkham covered in blood from head to toe, looks at you and arches an eyebrow.
Hello, Alice. Can you deal with this? I'm just gonna point at the computers.
Sure. Just put them over here. It's a lot of you pile up in the truck. You realize that there's a few hours before sun up. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go? What do you tell the driver to do?
Now, because we aren't from here, I imagine that the people that Alice could have contacted would have been the people that the prince loaned to us, essentially, or told us to reach out to.
What I'm going to say is that I think that given your character's status and age and everything, that you probably have a ghoul driver, and that's who came and picked you up. So it wasn't like a car service. It was
so it's an independent person, not somebody who's necessarily
exactly
beholden to the prince.
That's right.
Fantastic.
My place?
Well, you should at the very least clean up before we go see anyone else.
I agree.
All right. Your place.
Perfect.
You drive out across the city towards Arkham's place of residence. And I think that's a good place for us to take a little break, my friend. After that, I don't even know what to call it.
Really?
It was something. How are you feeling, Ian?
I feel really fucking good, dog.
Everybody feeling good? Everybody feeling all right? Hope so. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a Titan here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. Really appreciate you all. You're so kind, so nice to us. Thank you so much. Yes, blood-drenched debauchery. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Please do not go away. Yeah, see you on the other side of this thing. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. As we return from our break, thankfully, Ian has not, killed anyone during the break. That we know.
Not that you know.
That we know. Excellent. So just before the break, the gang had a couple of you had gone down into the basement of the loft, and we'll get back to that. And the other gang had been heading to Arkham's place. Before we head back to see what's going on with Father and Elise, you guys are going to travel to Arkham's place. Arkham, you're gonna change, clean up. What's your plan? What is it that you are thinking of doing at this point? Whilst you have like a couple hours, I guess, before the sun comes up. What's your idea or your thought on what you want to do?
I mean,
Please.
There's a giant mess. there's a couple floors of giant mess. And I think
there's 2 floors. It's not
I said a
crazy.
Couple. That's 2.
Makes it seem like it's a lot.
I know. It was a lot. So I think, again, Lilah is very aware that she doesn't really live here. She's kind of in between 2 cities right now, and she's very worried about causing an international incident. So with that in mind, I think while Arkham is cleaning up, she's going to keep Narcisse with them and accompany him and just sort of be asking about, how do you clean up this kind of mess? Who do we need to talk to? What's the protocol here?
No, it's just, he comes out, wiping his hair off with the towel. Oh, you just need to make a phone call to, what was it again? Bleak, you said the word.
Yeah, the Peacekeeper, Stokes.
Peacekeeper. Yeah, we just need to call Stokes and just let him know what happened. There's nothing crazy. It's just, negotiations.
And as you say that, Ian, there's a ring at your doorbell.
You expecting somebody?
I'm not.
I'm not either. Well,
great.
This will be fun.
So fun.
It sucks. I'm not hungry anymore. There's a little. There's a peephole.
Mm-hmm.
What do I see?
You see standing on the other side of the door, Oliver Stokes Ventru, Peacekeeper of Montreal. As if summoned by you mentioning his name. And whilst you're dealing with that particular revelation across the city, Father Dubois, you asked Seb a very specific question. Do you wish to reiterate it, or?
How are you going to handle with the fact that you are not one anymore, and that you will obey 2 separate masters, and your power will be divided?
I don't understand why you do this. The sacrifices I made, the obedience, the worship I gave you, the amount of blood I've spilled, honoring you.
I've done nothing. She, however, is taking your sister from you.
You wanted me to kill her. You put the knife in my hands and you told me to kill. I understand that she's not been as devout as I have, but to ask that of me after everything I've given you. And he's always looking a little off of you. He's always looking just to the side where your shadow is.
How many times must I tell you? Everything is a test. And I test you all the fucking time.
It's been so long. I thought you'd abandoned us. I haven't dreamt of you or seen you or heard of you.
Why? Why? Does God forsake his children? Is that what you're telling me? Are you telling me I, of all people, have abandoned you? No, I don't think so. But what I do think is that you, in this very moment, have 100% failed me. And you're allowing that witch to commit sacrilege upon your dearest sister.
Isn't she yours? Don't you control her? Doesn't she do your bidding?
No, unfortunately not. She's not mine. She is a demon sent from hell to tempt you. And you fell to her lustful desires, didn't you?
I don't know what happened up there. There was just... I saw you. I thought I thought this was a gift. I thought this was what you had promised, what you were bringing us. I thought it was for us.
No. No, had I been giving you a gift, you would have received it on holy ground. This den of sin is very much not holy ground. Now, is it?
So as you're talking to him this way, you're astute enough to know that he's starting to be a little confused. And I think you're astute enough to realize that in his mind, whoever he was talking to was a demon, was the devil, was something dark. And now you're talking to him as if you are a servant of God. And you can tell that it's confusing him. And
Good.
and I know that that's what I'm just making sure that you know that he's, and he kind of reels back a little bit. And he's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why are you talking this way?
Why am I talking this way? Because your power is being divided, and your power is the most important thing, and you're letting it slip away.
You can tell that he's kind of getting pumped up a little bit, and he's looking at the door. What do I do? Why do you allow her to walk with you and to do these things? If it's a fucking test, it's always a test, isn't it?
It is always a test. Unfortunately, we're always tested. But rest assured, one power will definitely arise this evening.
You're starting to feel that pull, that weight that comes with the sun and the daytime. It's starting to settle on you, and it's starting to drag you down into that sleep, that torpor that you enter during the day. You can spend a willpower if you want and fight it off for a little while. Otherwise, you're going to want to start thinking about getting a place to hide out and sleep. What do you want to do?
You have a decision to make.
Does he still have the knife, or did you take it back?
Well, he still got the knife. You have a decision to make. And I trust you'll make the right one. If not, oh. Nap time. And he goes and finds a closet or whatever, pulls the door shut and fucking barricades the motherfucker and just.
Meanwhile, in the little room where you, Elise, have taken refuge with Laurence, you have cut yourself and have given her your wrist, and she has been drinking, and she drinks very deeply of you, and as she does, you can see the blood flow slows down from her neck. As you look closer, you realize it didn't quite sever the jugular, but it was a very deep cut right in the crook of her neck. And as she drinks from you, you feel her heart rate calm down. You feel her looking a little bit stronger. Her skin is less pale. The blood is coming out, and she definitely looks like she's probably going to be better off her than because of this. What do you do?
I think Elise has her arm out, but she's doing her best to kind of turn away from the girl. And when she feels that heartbeat returning, when she feels the strength returning to her, she's going to kind of roll her to her side and kind of help her up so that her back is facing her, and she's walking her back to the door to push her out the door to her brother.
You are pushing her towards the door, and just as you reach it, she stops and turns around and grabs you by the face and starts kissing you.
I think she does a... No, don't look at me. Get out. Get out! And as her face lifts up, she will see that Elise is no longer this beautiful, stunning creature. The skin of her body drapes on her, drapes across bone and sinew. It's sunken in, it's blackening. She has gone from the swan to the old crone, and she is death. She is hideous.
And as she beholds this, you see her eyes go wide, and she takes a bit of a half step back, and then stops, and then slowly reaches out with a hand and pushes hair out of your face. Runs her finger along the side of your neck and her thumb along your cheek, the emaciated cheek, the deep, deep curve of the cheekbone, the sunken in cheek. She moves closer. She bends your head down, kisses you on the forehead. I'll stay here if that's okay.
Are you not scared of me?
How could I be scared of the angel who saved my life? You gave me what is most precious to me next to my brother. I dread death. I dread the notion of non-existence. My brother yearns for it. My brother calls on the void all the time. I've stopped him from ending his own life several times. He is obsessed with the idea of it. I'm the opposite. I just want to live and feel and taste and see everything and know everything. And that moment upstairs when that glass cut me and I started seeing that void, that edge of darkness swallowing my vision, I could only think how happy my brother would be if this was happening to him. How devastating it was that it was happening to me, and I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear it. And now you've given me the kiss, and I am here, and I feel stronger and more alive than I ever have before. The feel of your skin under my fingers is nothing I've touched before. I don't want to die.
I won't let you. And she kind of brings her in against her body. She's so frail now, thin, stroking the back of her head as she does so. Who whispers to your brother? Who pollutes him like this?
My brother's only ever referred to him as either him or Deathdreamer, he says. He's been haunting his dreams ever since my brother was a young boy. After our parents died, he began having these dreams of death all the time. His death, my death, our parents' deaths. He became obsessed with it, and in his dreams, he said death visited him, brought him these images. All the songs he's ever written, all the performances he's ever done were based on these dreams that this Deathdreamer brings him. He's devoted to the void, this idea of the end of everything.
From my father, have you seen him before?
No, never. To be honest, he doesn't even look familiar to me. I had the feeling it wasn't him my brother was addressing, though, as if there was somebody else in the room with us, just standing beyond the father. My brother's eyes always seemed to be not quite on him. I don't know. What are you?
Don't worry about that. I've come to save you. Perhaps in time we can help your brother as well, but I feel as though the sleep may be taking me, and I think we must barricade this door.
She takes you in her arms and very slowly slinks down to the floor, holding you, cradling you against her, much like you did before, and she sits with her back against the door. And as she cradles you down and puts your head on her shoulder, she says, I'll watch over you. Be safe.
I think she just lies her head in her lap, staring to the wall, the choices of the evening flashing behind her eyes.
As you fall asleep, you feel your blood stir one more time. You feel the comfort that comes with the connection with your sire, with Fletcher, and you know he's aware. And you know he'll be coming.
I think she very quietly says his name before she closes her eyes and slips into that darkness of night, or day in this case.
And as Elise falls asleep, thank you so much, Raiders. Entropy Emporium, your name is excellent for this game, as this is one of the themes of this game, is the entropy that is settling into the city and the people that live in the city. So thank you very much for joining us. We are playing Vampire the Masquerade, and we are dealing with mature themes. So please do take that into consideration if you want to hang out with us, but we would very much like it if you did. Across the city, you are staring at Oliver Stokes. Now, most Camarilla cities have a sheriff and a keeper of Elysium, have separate tasks, but in the city, the two positions have been amalgamated into one as the peacekeeper, and that is Oliver Stokes, one of the oldest Ventrus in the city. He looks you up and down, Arkham. What are you wearing at this point? Because you were in a shower, so I'm not too sure exactly how you came out of that situation.
Follow my first thought. No, I'm not going to do that. It's just a towel. Wanted to say butt naked, but that's weird. No, it's just a towel. He's right out the shower. Make that face, Kurt.
Oliver Stokes, you open the door. Oliver Stokes looks up and down, and if you can, I'm not going to be able to do this man's voice, but imagine Keith David in the role. He looks you up and down, goes, "Did I come at a bad time?"
Yes. No, it's perfect. We were going to call you.
Well, I just happened to be passing by, and I figured, been a while since I've seen old Arkham Olivier. Why not drop by and say hi, just to see if he's keeping out of trouble, keeping his nose clean and all that. You don't mind if I come in, do you? Thank you very much. And he walks in.
Yeah, please. By all means.
Miss Lilah Thorpe, I don't believe we've had the pleasure to officially meet. I am Oliver Stokes, at your service. And he comes over and takes your hand.
Oh, she will absolutely put it out for the kiss that she is expecting.
Which he doesn't do. He just kind of turns her hand and shakes it.
Well, she'll shake it.
Oh, we don't stand in ceremony here, miss.
Very fair enough.
The modern city. Modern rules. Isn't that right, Arkham?
Yes.
He pulls up a chair, sits down. You got anything to drink, or am I going to have to get some DoorDash?
If you could just fucking leave. Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to put some pants on first, if that's okay.
Oh, please. Not on my account, but do what you must to be comfortable.
Fine. Takes the towel off, throws it across the room, goes over to get him a drink. If I'm comfortable in my house, this is my space. Whatever.
Stokes gives you a look, Lilah, and says, are you okay with this?
Lilah has her eyes closed and her nostrils are flaring as she deep breathes through the annoyance.
Olivia, put some goddamn clothes on, man, would you?
This is my house.
Yeah, it's the Prince's
As you said,
city.
not on my account.
Fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. He goes, puts clothes on, comes back, something simple. And he hands Stokes a drink, and he goes, "You weren't just walking in the neighborhood. Obviously, you are aware that I need your help."
He looks absolutely taken by all the surprise in the world. What was that? You need my help. You, Arkham Olivier, needs my help. Well, I'll be damned. What a day it is. Miss Thorpe, do you happen to have a calendar on you, would you? We could mark this day down. I believe it's going to become a national day of celebration, the day Olivier asked Old Stokes here for help.
Can't say I do. And I don't have my assistant on me either, but I'll make
You don't
note.
have your assistant on you. Oh.
She's off dealing with some things for me.
Yeah. Well, at least you have an assistant. I don't have an
I
assistant.
highly recommend it.
I wish I had an assistant. So much work to do.
Hmm.
And here I am, just one man, 2 hands, 2 feet. Well, all I got, but if I can be of assistance to you with either of my hands or either of my feet, Monsieur Olivier, I am at your disposal. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what ails you? And I'll tell you if I got the medicine you need.
Stokes, I hate you so much. It's just, I hate you so much. Well, we were out and we were handling some business for the Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And negotiations got a little heavy.
Oh, no.
I need a cleanup.
Oh, cleanup crew heavy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Before we continue, may I ask a question, and either of you should feel free to answer. What in the wild world of sports is that? And he points over to Narcisse, who's sitting in the corner holding the painting.
Negotiations?
A matter of interest for the Prince.
Well, not that one, but what's tied to it. Excuse me. And he grabs the painting and he takes it to a back room. Not that one. Sorry.
While he's gone, he looks at you, and Lilah, and he says, I guess this one has seen everything.
He has.
And he's of interest to the Prince.
As far as I'm aware. Seems connected enough that killing him seemed a bad idea.
How bad was it?
2 floors of chips and dip.
It wasn't 2 floors. Arkham comes back. I mean, well, yeah, it was 2 floors.
Carpet salsa upstairs and wall guac downstairs.
I'd like
And
y'all
to
had
consider it
yourself,
assorted
more
chunky
painting.
bits.
It's
y'all had yourself,
you say it like that.
Mexican
Well, it's when
buffet?
a little snack gets a little messy.
All right. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take him with me. I'm going to send someone to clean up your mess. You, and he points to Arkham, are going to owe me a boon on this. Because cleaning up messes is not my job.
But it's kind of your job. Like, that's what.
No, you know what my job is? My job is punishing those who make messes. So, right away, I'd say you're getting out ahead of the curve a little bit.
Who is it to punish? I was doing a task for the prince. I was following orders. Shouldn't you?
Did the prince tell you to go out there and make a fucking mess out of this? No, the prince expected you to act with a certain amount of restraint and professionalism while you were out there doing work for her. Let me remind you, Monsieur Olivier, that we are living in extremely dangerous times. The government is onto us. People everywhere are on the hunt for us. Now, more than ever, for those of us who wish to reside in a city, a domain protected by a prince and a peacekeeper, it is vitally important that we observe the rules, that we act with discretion. We are not beasts, Monsieur Olivier. I expect this from the Bruja and the Gangrel and the Nosferatu, but thankfully for us, none of them are in this city. They're all downstairs doing whatever it is they fucking do in the basement. But up here, where the clans with a little bit of class remain, we expect more, Monsieur Olivier. And you have disappointed tonight.
Really? I've disappointed tonight. I was tasked with bringing the prince glorious beauty. And in that, I found my own. And yes, the Nosferatu, the Bruja, they are down in the sewers, wallowing in their own shit and rat blood. But we here, we sit on high. And do you know why, Peacekeeper? It's because of that beast. And I won't stand on rules that don't feed that beast, especially when I am asked to do so. Your prince ordered, I delivered. There was no holding hands clause.
I think you made one mistake, Monsieur Olivier. You made one mistake of a geographical nature. This is Montreal. Bec City, which is run by the Sabbat, is 2.5 hours east of here.
That's funny. That's very funny. Are you going to help me or not, Peacekeeper? Because I think you've also made a geographical mistake. When you cross this door, this is the 36 chambers of death. Welcome.
Was that a rap reference? Because I didn't get it. I'm a jazz man myself.
Clan. That's fine. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
I've never heard of them.
You should try it. Here, actually, as a precursor to whatever boon it is that I will need, he goes and he pulls out a record. Listen to it. Enjoy it. I'm really partial to Method Man's, what is it? Writing scheme. Ionic pentameter, some shit. I'm not an English major. I create art.
It takes the... Did you give him a CD or an LP?
It's an LP.
He takes it. That it. Puts it under his arm. Miss Thorpe, the prince would like to see you at your earliest convenience. And if he's done acting like a fucking rabid animal, if you can put the leash and the muzzle on him, Mr. Olivier, should accompany.
And I keep feeding you and feeding you.
He gets
He'll
up
enjoy
and
that album.
goes to the door. He opens it, turns around, looks at you. In the world of art, Monsieur Olivier, which admittedly I am not as conversant as you are, I believe that there are different movements. Right? The pre-Raphaelite movement, the modernist movement, the postmodernist movement, all these various updates to what is in fashion, to what the rules of art are, how you paint something, what something looks like, what the aesthetics are. Constantly updating, evolving, changing. But one thing remains. Regardless of what new skin you strap on it, the rules remain rules. And those who break them I'm sure you can figure out exactly how unwelcome they quickly become.
I appreciate your insight, Peacekeeper. And yes, I will honor that boon whenever you ask.
Miss Thorpe.
Mr. Stokes.
I take it you have technological evidence of tonight's little escapade?
I believe it's in the process of being destroyed. Did you need it?
Well, I certainly would like to see to its destruction myself if it's not too late.
I'll reach out. My assistant currently has it.
Appreciate that.
Would it be acceptable to hand it off to the prince when I see her tomorrow, or would you like it delivered anywhere specific?
Oh, you can hand it to me tomorrow when I meet you there.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to it.
Have a wonderful night, and welcome back to Montreal.
Thank you.
Monsieur Olivier, I'll make sure this is returned to you with nary a scratch on it.
It's yours. I have plenty.
Man after my own heart. He turns around, closes the door behind him, comes back, grabs Narcisse. The sun is almost on the horizon. Any parting words before you depart for the night?
I do hope you will at least try to look presentable for the prince.
Oh, one thing is for sure. Two things are certain. I'm going to look good.
I should hope so. And the other?
It'll be fun.
I really question your definition of that word.
Lilah, I'm pretty sure you're concerned with my actions this past evening. Trust, there is a reason for it.
I trust no such thing.
Rules, Lilah, rules are the reason why we have to do the things that we do when we shouldn't. The prince gave us a task, and we had to go through this nonsense political speaking to food at the end of the day, because they, in their world, have a little bit more. Look how easy it was. You stared them right in his eye, and you told him to sit, and he wagged his tail, and he sat. What rule did that break?
Potentially several, but I suppose we'll find out for sure tomorrow. You see, rules are only important to the people who place them.
Exactly. To the people who place them.
And now
More
we must
so
go
than-
face the people who place the rules.
But we have somewhat of an edge. At least I'd like to think so. And if not, screw it. I'm done with Montreal anyway. Well, at least the corporeal version of it. Like I said, it will be fun.
Well, I can't wait to join you in this fun. And I think
Very nice.
with that, Lilah is leaving. She is done with this.
No party kiss? Shame.
She's going to blow him one as sarcastically as possible as she closes the door behind her.
And as each of you returns, turns to their bed for the day. Thanks so much, Raiders. Thanks, Rachel, for bringing in your bunch. Hope you had a good time. I think you're streaming BG3 tonight. I hope you had a good time with that. We are playing Vampire the Masquerade, and we do deal with mature subject matter. So please decide for yourself if you want to hang out, but please do if you want. I'd appreciate that. The next night, as the sun goes up, sinking all of you into deep slumber, and goes back down again, calling you back to this life you lead in the night. I would like to ask all of you to make me a rouse check. And Creep, I do believe you're at 3 hunger, so it's
Yeah, failed that.
So hungry.
Hungry.
I also have no successes.
all right. So if you have no success, you take a hunger. Anyone at no one's reached 5, I hope. You're at 4.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Before the fiesta on 2 floors, I had 3 hunger. Would you say that I kind of like?
I would say you went down 1.
Okay, 1. Just 1?
Yeah. So the way the game works is when you feed, you slake 1 hunger. The only way to get rid of all of it, or to get rid of the last point, is to kill someone while drinking. So it's more of it's not a question of how much blood. It's not a question of quantity. It's a more like metaphysical kind of approach to it.
Solid.
Because it's going to be so interesting, I'm going to keep Creep for last.
Fuck.
Father, you awaken in the closet. He's not in there with you, which is odd. Usually the first voice you hear is his voice. But there's been a few times when he's not been there. And he's not today. You're alone in the dark. Some janitor's closet somewhere. And you smell blood. A fair amount of it.
Interesting.
What do you do?
I think he stands and moves things out of the way to open the door.
You open the door and see it a few doors down, sitting on the floor, is Seb. The floor around him is completely covered in his blood. He is there, his head slumped down, the bloody knife in his hand. Unmoving. On the door behind him, in his blood, is written, for her.
Well, 1 down, 1 to go. I think he turns and he whistles a little tune as he pushes the mop bucket out of the janitor's closet.
As you come out the janitor's closet with the mop bucket, you hear a man's voice say, "Making your morning's ablutions, Father?" You turn to see the Tremere Regent, Fletcher.
If it isn't the head warlock himself.
Indeed.
Come to fetch your kitten?
I have. It seems that you've had a rather eventful evening.
You might say so, yes. That would be quite interesting, to say the least. Your practices, I didn't realize, involved so much fornication. I learned a great deal this evening. I also learned that it's apparently, your custom to take control and ghoul things that don't belong to you.
Is there a point to this sermon, Father?
Oh, there's always a point. Whether or not you get it is a different story. Anyway, your corpse is in there. I do have a question for you, though. Does she know what she is? Because I'm not entirely convinced.
You mean Elise?
Yes.
Are you asking me if Elise knows that she is kindred? Is that the question here, Father? Or are you asking on a more metaphysical level?
That she's a conduit.
Elise is many things. One of the things that she is a incredibly gifted soul that has the ability to amplify magic. She has been this way since before her embrace, and it only became the stronger after. So, yes, I believe she is aware that magic that moves through her reacts in an interesting way.
Very interesting. One might say plague-like, even.
And you, sir, are a expert on occult matters, are you? I didn't know that, in addition to being a priest, you were also a hedge mage.
Not so much a hedge mage, but I've seen my fair share of witches, and it's important to know their practices.
Are you on a witch hunt then, Father? Are you looking to burn your way through the witches of the city? Are you going to, what's the word? Slam them in the back of your Dragula?
No, I'm not. Though that is a very catchy song, I must admit. No, I'm not, as a matter of fact, because as of right now, it's not open season on you. But that's neither here nor there. The point being is that your little plaything, right, your special little girl, about caused 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 separate breaches, all within a matter of an hour.
Excellent. Then I expect we will take them up with the prince and see what the prince has to say about that.
Do you really want to do that?
Sure. Those are the rules, are they not? And if I may, Father, because I am someone who believes in the sanctity of the rules of our society, I will behave with decorum. What I choose to call Elise in the privacy of our home, whether it is my kitten or my princess or my darling, is for me to do. Elise is my partner. Elise is the other half of my soul. Elise is someone that I respect and worship and belong to the same level that she does me. And I will beg of you, Father, Please. Keep these insolent remarks of yours out of your mouth when referring to Elise, or I may cease to give a damn about our rules. And you may think you have God on your side, Father, and that probably needs to still be proven. But I will fucking blood the boil right out of your fucking skin. Do you understand me?
Oh, my boy, you are mistaken in thinking that God is on my side. Anyway, have a good evening. And he just walks past him.
Meanwhile, in the little room, Elise, you wake up
Everything's fine here, I'm sure.
with terrible hunger. Terrible knots in your stomach. Your beast is roaming around in there, bouncing off every bit of flesh and bone inside your body. You wake up and all you smell is the rich blood of the Alma twins. Your eyes open and you see Laurence starting to stir. There's no blood on her anymore. The flow has stopped, yet there is this intense smell of it. What do you do?
So, just to get an idea of where I'm at, can I resist enough to not try and eat this girl I just saved?
You can spend the willpower.
Okay.
And get some time.
Okay. I will do that. And I think that she, in her desperation, because she tore the clothes off and like kind of affixed them around this wound, she is like, I'd imagine she kind of rips that off and starts like suckling on it.
It's bringing you a slight measure of satisfaction, but in some ways it's also just peeking, prodding, poking, edging your beast. Laurence stirs and sees you and reaches out to you and says, "Are you okay?" and puts her hand on your neck.
She slaps her hand away before she can touch her. You have to get out of here. You have to run. Get away from me. And I imagine she's like crouched on the floor and in this moment just looks feral. Her eyes are wide and coupled with this sunken flesh, this look of death. It's, I imagine, quite horrifying.
Yeah, she stands up, her eyes wide. The strength of the bond that has become deformed thanks to the feeding you gave her yesterday is no longer enough to kind of overcome. Look, and she turns around and struggles with the door a little bit. And as she opens it, you hear Fletcher's voice on the other side call out your name. "Elise, are you all right in there?" And the door starts to open and you hear her gasp, and the smell of the blood just hits you full in the face. And you know you're gonna lose it. She pulls the door open and sees her brother's body slump into the room. You see his blood spilled out all over into the hall. She screams when she sees her brother. You see Fletcher just beyond her. He takes a look at the situation, kind of gauges what's happening. He looks at you and says, just hold on. And he grabs her and he pulls her out of the room and he closes the door. And you hear him say, don't move. And you can hear her whimpering and screaming. You're inside, barely holding it together. You want to scratch at the door. You want to get on all fours. You want to lick at the blood that's seeping in under the door. Elise, talk to me, he says through the door. Focus on my voice.
I'm so hungry.
I know.
I didn't want to kill her.
She's okay. She's safe. You have to focus now. This thing inside of you, it's weaker than you. It feels strong right now because you're hungry. But you know.
I can smell it.
I'm going to come in there now. And you can take as much as you need. But I need you to remain calm, focus, clear your mind. The door opens a crack. The smell of blood fills the room. He steps in, closes the door behind him. Come here. Come to me.
I think she rushes him.
You rush him, and as you arrive next to him, he grabs you. And for a moment, you're not sure what he's going to do, if he's going to push you back or hold you at arm's length or whatever, but he grabs you and he pulls you close. And as you start clawing and fighting, and suddenly the beast is starting to take over, he says, it's okay. You're going to be safe. Take what you need. And he pulls you close to him and he holds you so tight. And his neck is right there.
She sinks into him. I think as she does so, she's starting to sob. Her whole body is just vibrating in his arms. She doesn't remember the last time she's been this close to the beast, this hungry. Dinner is as easy as walking out her bedroom door.
He picks you up gently as you're feeding, walks across to the end of the room that you're in, far away from the blood as he can. He turns around and he brings you down to the floor with him. And he just holds you there as you're drinking. The blood, as potent as the twins' blood was, there's something magical and special about the bond with Fletcher, and nothing compares to that. And soon enough, as you drink from him and as he holds you and talks to you gently, you feel the beast inside start to calm. You feel that connection that the two of you have just strengthening again. After a few moments, when you've slowed down, I need you to be really strong, because we're going to have to get out of this room. And there's the body on the ground there, and you're going to smell him. And I know there's something special about the blood.
Is he dead? A boy?
I believe so. I'm going to take you out of here, and I'll come back and deal with it. We'll bring the girl. I need you to be strong. I need you to focus on me, not look at it, not smell it. I need you to...
Father.
Yes.
Is he gone? Where did he go?
He did. Back to the rectory, wherever the hell. End of the nights. Hey. I'm here, I got you.
I want to go home.
We're going. He gets up, still carrying you, and he walks outside, and in moments, taking Laurence by the hand, he's almost catatonic. He uses his dominate to get her to calm down and follow. Moments later, you'll be in the car that's waiting outside with Faraday. Soon you're back at the house. Over yonder, Lilah. You wake up. The events of last night are sticking with you. There's a lot about it that, of course, is not good. What's going through Lilah's head? What is she feeling? What is she thinking right now? What's her plan as she gets up and she knows she has to face the prince along with Arkham?
I think Lilah is not as confident that she's gonna come out smelling like roses as she would like to be. But I also think that she's aware she's currently sitting at 2 hunger. So she's aware that she should probably do something about that before she has to interact with the prince. And just running through lists in her head of all of the different responsibilities and all of the different plates that she's currently spinning. And she's not panicking about it because she's very much a woman who likes to be busy, likes to be in charge and in control. But the thing that is pressing today, this meeting with the prince, is the thing that she is least in control of. So I think that's giving her not quite an anxiety spiral, but something that could turn into that if she wasn't a little distracted by so many other things.
Do you make any calls or prepare anything in any way before stepping out and trying to maybe get something to eat, so it was, as it were?
So I know that there is some weirdness here about calls and communications and the ready or less than ready availability of them.
I'm super sorry, Maria. I got a message and I was reading it, and I'm really dumb when it comes to hearing things. Would you mind repeating what you just said?
No worries. I said I know that there's some weirdness here in regards to communications and how readily available they are and what you can and can't say. But I don't know that Lilah necessarily knows the ins and outs of that. Again, she's not from here, so she has like a sort of glossed over understanding of, hey, the phone lines aren't safe.
Mm-hmm.
You can only communicate the sort of things that humans would communicate.
Yeah.
So I don't know that she's necessarily going to think that she should be making calls right now.
Something you would know is that there is a system of communication that's been established by the Nosferatu in the city, but it's very slow. It's basically like dropping off a letter somewhere and waiting for it to be delivered to whoever. So it's not like the kind of thing where you can just pick up the phone and call someone.
But she does have her, her cell phone that she handles her business on. So she'll check her emails and fire off a couple of quick responses. She's got meetings that she's setting up while she's in the city. She's not purely here for the prince's pleasure. She has some of her own things going. And I think she will pick up the little black book that she found in her sire's safe and thumb through it. And she can't make heads or tails of most of it, but she does have like one page that she's figured out. Well, a couple of them, but the ones that aren't about her that she's figured out. Mm-hmm. She's gonna stare at that for a moment and think like, maybe this is lunch. and then kind of put that thought aside because she wants to be a little more focused when she handles that problem.
Excellent. How do you plan on going to the prince?
I think because I've met the prince before, despite not meeting her with the group.
Yeah, yes, you definitely have met the prince on a few occasions.
So I'm familiar with the fact that she hangs out at Fuff's, and that's probably where I will be meeting her, yes?
Yeah, you would expect, though, that she might have, other plans, as this is bound to... I mean, let's face it, there's the risk that there's going to be some, punitive actions being taken, and so she might want somewhere a bit more, quiet. I think you would expect that she would make her desires known.
Okay. Well, in that case, and because I know that the only way for her to contact me safely is to send someone, I think I should probably stay home and stay where I'm expected to be so that I can get that notification when it comes. To that end, I think probably I will just be snacking on my ghoul this morning for breakfast.
Not a problem. It's a familiar and comforting little meal. As that's going on, your assistant reminds you that the writer you're supposed to meet, Martin Gare, had suggested lunch. She assumes that will not be logistically possible. So, what kind of arrangements would you like to make? She asks.
Well, first of all, I hate when you talk business when I'm feeding on you. It's really rude and distracting.
Sorry, I'm just trying to multitask.
Stop talking when my mouth is full. Secondly, I would like for you to please email him back. Let him know that my days are very busy dealing with our upcoming publication date. However, I am in town as well, and if he would like to meet up for post-dinner coffee or a cocktail, if that's more his speed, see if he's available in the evening. Maybe not this evening, tomorrow evening. And evening.
My understanding was that this was for the prince. Should I make a point of contacting some of the others, or will you be taking this meeting on your own?
Well, I have another meeting before this meeting, and I want to see how that meeting goes. I'll get back to you on that one.
Very well. Is it okay for me to get up and go?
I suppose. Thank you, Alice.
I've been meaning to say that we could possibly hire somebody new, maybe someone local who would be a bit more aware of the way things are here. I could use the help, an assistant for the assistant, maybe?
Oh, that's cute. I have maybe a lead. We'll see.
Very well.
It's on my to-do list.
I'll let you know what transpires from all of this.
Let me know if you have like a wish list of knowledgeable subjects and such.
I will. Already working on it, she says as she's tapping. She's got like a BlackBerry in one hand and like an iPhone in the other, and she's very efficient.
You're wonderful.
Thank you. It's nice to hear.
Thank you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Arkham and Lilah. I totally imagine that Arkham has like one of those big circular beds that were really like popular in the freaking 80s.
Why are you painting this absolutely accurate stereotype? I love it.
If I was painting some kind of a stereotype, I would say that he's got. Do you remember in The Shining when Scatman Crothers is in his bed and he's got these paintings on velour of like these beautiful black goddesses naked, like, you know? When I saw that, I was like, man, I remember those pictures. They're painting on like this velour or whatever. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
But you tell me. You tell me. You tell me what does Arkham. I'm interested. What does Arkham's room look like?
Sure, we could do that. It's definitely. I think if somebody were to first step into it, the one thing that they would notice is that everything is very streamlined. It's modern. It's angular. Like you can plot the zero angle on those lines on everything, like specifically, and it has this scent to it. It's almost like oud. We're painting a stereotype. Big, round, crazy bed, huge pillows, blankets. There's one that is satin. It's not for him. It's for the ladies. That type deal. Like it's very one of those.
Nice.
But he's actually like sitting on the edge of his bed in this moment, and he's in like deep thought. Like he knows the gravity of what he's doing, but he is fully convinced the reasoning he has for it is true. And he's looking forward to this meeting with the prince so that he can let them know his reasoning for it.
What do you intend to do between now and the time of the summons? Because you know from experience that there will be a summons.
He comes in contact with Constance just to make sure that everything is going according to schedule. Checks on her to make sure that she's okay as well. And then he's asking for... He has a portfolio that has instructions of what to do in certain situations. And he's referring to Constance. He's like, if for some reason I don't come back from this meeting, you know what to do. And honestly, it's perfectly fine. You know that everything here is yours. Just do the necessary transfers.
Sir, may I speak freely?
Sure.
I'm a little worried about you.
Why?
I think that your exuberance, your love for, excuse the pun, but biting into life with all your teeth and just taking as much as you can out of it is, well, it's one of the reasons why your work is so immaculate, so perfect, so fantastic, and it's one of the reasons why I was so drawn to you in the first place. But I sometimes worry that you're crossing a little from exuberant into possibly self-damaging behavior. And I think you have so much to offer and so much to give still to this world with the work that you do, that it would be a tragedy if it were to lose you, because, well, because.
He looks up at Constance and he goes, I know. I know. It's hard to tread that line and it just becomes blurred, and honestly it's blurred to the point now to where I don't want to see it anymore. But I do have a job, and this job is very important to me. But it's frustrating when those who even ask you to do said job don't realize what it takes to pull it off. The city's beautiful. The people are beautiful. We are beautiful. And it needs to be showcased as best as I can. But one thing that the prince asked that they seem to forget was vital in their request is that we can't always stand on what's beautiful, because there is beauty in the horror, in the grotesque, in the mean, in the self-damaging. Constance, that is my job. And for some reason, these people around me don't realize that that's the focus. This is what's real, and his fangs descend. This is what it is. This is Montreal. And the prince forgot. The prince forgot that that's what they asked of me. The father runs around toting his book. Elise, with her dreams and her spells, and then Lilah. Lilah's a different story, but me, I remain focused.
If I may be so bold then, sir. Perhaps the answer is that this city needs a monarch who knows better what's best for it.
Monarch's fun. More specifically, maybe a prince that knows what's best for it. Call it what it is, Constance. Call it what it is.
If you'll permit then, sir, before you head to this meeting tonight, I may have a suggestion or two.
I'm all ears.
Gives you a smile. Meanwhile, at St. James Church, Father Dubois, you've returned from the Fatale lofts and your little excursion there. What's going on with you? What's happening? What are you doing?
I'm writing a very well-penned letter.
Are you using your best Sunday hand?
My very best Sunday hand.
And what does this letter contain?
An account of the evening's activities.
Who are you writing that to, Padre?
The sheriff.
Why?
Rules are rules, and they must be adhered to, like the commandments of above.
He comes in and sits down next to you and pulls out a cigar from his vest and lights it and puts his feet up on your desk and looks at you and waits for you to continue.
Because, after all, no one threatens me and gets away with it. Especially not a blood-stained witch.
Here's what I'm wondering. I mean, it's pretty clear that there's some going on with her, right? Like, what did you call her?
She's a conduit.
Conduit.
Yes, truly.
Do we want to nip that in the bud, you think? Or do you think we want to see where it goes?
I think we want to see where it goes, but more importantly, I don't necessarily need... What's his name? He's got more ink than sense.
Oh, I don't pay attention to those people.
Yeah, the regent or whatever, their head little warlock, seems to have it out that he's big man on the totem pole. But what he fails to realize is the fact that one good preaching from me and I can have a line of picketers outside his home in a matter of hours. They're going to learn what real power is. One way or another. I will not be made fun of, and I will not be doubted. That is for sure. And a small little cabal of witches? Like he pulls out like a King James version of the Bible and slams it down. We've got all kinds of rules in here for dealing with witches. Respect is the point.
It's sad to see the kid go, though. He seemed to think that he knew us or something.
Well, it's funny how the mind plays tricks on you, isn't it?
Hmm.
And get your feet off of my desk. Thank you.
Alex. What are you going to do about this task that you've been given?
Oh, I fully
Not drink
intend
the blood for 7 nights.
Oh, please. Someone calling themselves the Rat King? Are you serious? The Rat King is a bunch of dead rats with their tails tied in a knot. I don't think I can hardly take anybody that seriously with a name like that. Now, should it be one of our less desirable to look upon friends from the Undercity, that could be quite different. But sending a vessel to try and command me to do something? Not so much. You know better. You wouldn't stand for that. So why should I?
Damn it, you're right.
A broken watch is still right twice a day.
I guess that's true. I'm just wondering, though. There is someone out there with the power to reach into the dreams of the people in this city.
Yes.
That sounds a little godlike, doesn't it?
Or somebody very old.
Did I ever tell you the story of Brother Andre?
He sits down at his desk and he puts his pen to the side and moves it over and he just... No, please do.
Well, some years ago, there was a saint who walked around in Montreal, see. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Elise, you've been brought to your rooms. The girl Laurence has been inconsolable. Fletcher has seen to her. Maria has come and fetched her and is taking care of her. As you're resting on your bed, what's going through your mind? What's percolating in there?
To set the scene a little bit, I imagine that Elise has one of those very old, very decadent canopy beds with the big heavy curtains you can draw, and she has kind of sequestered herself to this bed. She still is death in appearance, so she's hiding away in this bed, and not only has she sequestered herself to this bed, but I also imagine that she's in there and she's redressed herself in all black, and she's wearing this long black veil, so if anyone comes in to speak to her, they don't have to be confronted with her looks. And she's being rather dramatic about it, so she's kind of fallen back on her bed. She's in this veil and all this black dressing. Her drapes are closed, and I think she's kind of laying in there, ruminating on this vision that she saw at the end of the copulation with the twins, of the 7 places not being physical places but actually being people, and kind of running through her mind all of these people, testing on her tongue the Ashen Crow as she's laying there, and just questioning what all these things mean, while also not fully forgetting that the father fucked with her mind somehow, whether it just being something that he said that threw her off, or if there was something deeper there, something that she didn't quite catch. And Seb, the death of Seb, the waste of that person, and what his death could mean, considering he is one of the 7 keys. And I think she's just kind of running through all these things, running through everything that happened that night over and over again, and trying to dissect it and understand it.
What remains from all of that is the idea that things are moving towards you. You get the feeling that whatever this 7th person is, the Ashen Crow, in some ways, it'll make its way to you. You don't feel like anything has been broken or destroyed. Things are already in movement. It's kind of like planets moving, spinning, aligning. They're impossible to stop once they start going. There's a bit of comfort in that. And when Fletcher walks into the room, he comes and he sits on the bed next to you. He says, "I think Maria's settled on a new name."
What does she want to call herself?
Says she wants to be called Maria of the Cross, Maria de la Croix. Is that resonates with her. She was embraced beneath the cross on Mount Royal. She was in Montreal because she was doing a series of paintings on the Stations of the Cross. She, like Jesus, she said, has been through Calvary and has been reborn on the other side.
Her art. Has she found it again?
Our garage has become a bit of a de facto art gallery.
I can't wait to see it.
It'll take you just as soon as you're better, and he gives you some of the blood that he's brought for you, some more. He's got like a nice big sort of decanter of it, and he puts it on your bedside with a mug, and he fills it for you, and he gives it to you. You'll feel much better after you've had a bit more of this. You probably got a point's worth out of him, by the way, whatever.
That's kind of what yeah.
I want to show you something that I noticed earlier. And he goes in a corner, and I'm assuming you have some sort of ginormous mirror.
Oh, yeah. Right next to the equally ginormous armoire.
He moves it over, and he puts it near your bed. And he reaches out for you and gives you his hand.
She sets the cup down. She hasn't drank from it yet. And takes his hand.
He brings you in front of the mirror, and slowly, very reverently, he removes your clothing from you. And he spins you around slowly.
You know, I don't like you to see me like this.
Nonsense, you've never been more beautiful. But look here. Your tattoos, you see, have changed. You've moved. They have started to come together. All the different symbols, the 7 symbols from Pozisha's book that he drew on you, have started moving and coming together. Moving, and you can see the trail of silver where he burned them into your skin with the molten silver. They're trailing behind like waves.
They're people.
They're people, and they're coming towards you. Whatever this is, something the father said, actually, that you were a conduit I always thought that you would be the map, but you're not the map. You are the key, essentially. These things, whatever we enacted when we did the ritual, whatever Trois Echelles intended, it's happening right now, and you're the center of it. There's something I'd like to try. I'd been planning it for some time, but it's dangerous. Dangerous for you mostly. I don't want to do it unless you're fully aware and willing. But I think it might give us the final answers we need.
You know I'd do anything for you. All you have to do is ask.
I know, but I have to ask. And you have to say yes.
Then ask it.
Will you let me do this ritual? That might very well result in tragic consequences, but may bring us the answers that we need.
Anything you wish. My body is yours. Flesh, blood, soul. If I were to go bad, if I were to pass into another world, I'll find you again. Always do.
He helps you put your clothes back on, and then he goes to a box that he brought in with him. It's this very ornate box, very old. He brings it over, sets it next to you on the bed, opens it, and from it, he starts pulling these lengths of very old. You can sense the age in them, easily over 100 years old. These ropes made of twisted strands of very long, very fine human hair. And he pulls out lengths and lengths of these ropes, made by some master rope maker, however long ago.
I think she reaches out and touches them. Takes an end, brings it to her face, and smells it.
You smell
They're beautiful.
old flowers and oils that have been used to keep them fresh and strong. Let's build up your strength. And then let's get our answers.
Of course.
And he reaches out and he brings your head forward and he kisses you on the forehead. Bound, he says.
Forever.
And on that note, my friends, on that note, we end tonight's session.